Good. Hey everyone, welcome to Kats Creations live on Friday night. I'm sure you guys probably saw my sneak peek, although I think if you're following me from Instagram, I just posted it about 15 minutes ago, so you may not have had a chance to see it, but we are doing a baseball wreath. And this is the first one I've done on my live, although I have made them before. They've been custom orders for people who have requested a specific team baseball wreath. But in this case, if you're doing a general all-purpose wreath like this, it's not team specific, it's not Major League Baseball specific, you can create this wreath and this can go on your Etsy shop. You can also entertain custom orders. If people like the initial layout of your wreath, you can take it that step forward and do something more Major League Baseball specific, team, colors, that kind of thing, through a custom order and not listed through Etsy. So I'm going to walk you through how we're going to do it, go over all the materials that we are going to use, let you know where I purchased them from, and that's pretty much about it. So let me just do our audio visual thing. Can you guys hear me? Can you see me okay? And do we have anyone joining us? Especially in light of all the Facebook issues and Instagram issues lately.
Yeah, we got about 43. There's still people jumping on. So
okay.
Yeah, Melanie, Gail, Kathy, Vi, Karen, Audrey, Dawn, Patty, just to name a few.
Okay, perfect. So we're using the 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. I have this color-coded in red and blue because I am actually going to utilize something coordinating with my red and blue pipe cleaners. We're using 21-inch white metallic Deco mesh. This was actually Deco mesh I bought at Lowe's during their Christmas clearance. So I just figured, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and use it up because I do need a 21-inch roll of Deco mesh.
At Lowe's? Wow.
At Lowe's, I know, believe it or not, Lowe's at Christmas time sells Deco mesh and it's good quality too. We're also using 10-inch metallic red and a 10-inch metallic royal blue. Both of these came from Craft Outlet. Let's see what else. We are using the If We Don't Answer, We're at the Ballfield sign. This came from Lee at Personally Yours, and I want to say this is an 8-inch round, and it is an 8-inch round. So this is perfect for putting in our wreaths without going too big with the 12-inch rounds that we're used to using. We are going to be doing red and blue.
And Lee is on. So.
Oh, Lee's on?
Yep.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yep.
So this is one of her new signs this year. I absolutely loved it. So, and what's crazy is when I actually got in here and started zooming in just from my iPhone, you could actually see the details and it looks very realistic from the phone portion of it. So I can't wait to see what this is going to look like when we finish. So 2.5-inch navy blue. This is called Starry Night. This actually came from Lowe's as well. So I'm dipping into some of my Lowe's supplies. We're using red 2.5-inch. This came from Craft Outlet. We're doing the baseball stitching and the baseballs in 1.5-inch lengths, and both of these came from Craft Outlet. Now, in addition to that, we are going to be adding real Rawlings baseballs. I'm using 3 of them on this wreath, so it is going to be a little on the heavy side, but nothing beats doing real objects over the plastic ones that you can get. And I do have some of those, I just chose not to use it, like the plastic baseballs. And I'm going to show you how you can attach your pipe cleaners to this to where the baseballs are still functional. So any questions on the materials before I get started? The tools you will need metal hole punch pliers. These are 1.5 millimeter. I got these from Amazon. You will need wire cutters. You will need needle nose pliers, scissors, pipe cleaners, and a fork. And that's pretty much it. Okay, So, do I have any?
Jilly asks, is the baseball ribbon satin?
The baseball ribbon satin, it's like a polyester, but it feels like, yeah, it's a polyester blend, but it's nice because it's almost visible both sides. So.
Yep, Gene, new mat. We also might need to take the plastic off the mat because I see kind of a glare off of it.
You are? Okay. So, and the only reason I didn't, because I didn't know if we were going to keep it. Now this was interesting because I did order a new mat from Amazon, and this is specified that it is a 24 by, no, 34. 24 by 34?
24 by 36.
24 by 36. But here's the interesting thing that I noticed. It is always about the details. So I apologize for not taking this off. I just told Steve I wasn't sure if we were going to keep it. So right here on the cutting mat, and I don't know if you guys can see this, I'll have Steve try to zoom in. It does say it is a 24 by 36 inch cutting mat. So when you're going online, that's exactly what you're looking for, because that's exactly what we used to use. But if you notice on this cutting mat, it goes from 1 to 34.
Yep.
So, or actually 35, because here's the end of the line. So we're missing an inch on this side, and then it goes from 1 to 23. So we're missing an inch either direction. So this is not a 24 by 36 inch cutting mat. It's a 23 by 35. Go figure. Yeah. So anyway, this will be our chop and utilize cutting mat.
Yep.
So.
And Gina asked, Rawlings, isn't it a patented ball?
It is.
You're not selling the ball, you're selling the wreath.
Yeah,
and we're not calling it a Rawlings wreath.
Baseball wreath, right? So I'm just using an official Rawlings baseball, just like you would use, I don't know, anything. The Deco mesh we use, the Ribbon Maker's Holiday Mark. It's just an embellishment. I'm not selling an actual Rawlings baseball wreath.
Right.
So yeah, it's just, if you wanted to and you could take this out and it wasn't, it's just for baseball purposes. So don't have to use it. I just chose to use them because I had 9 left over because I bought them in a pack of 12. So I'm using them up. Any other questions though before I get started?
Welcome new gals. Did you have a new member? Is it Terry?
Yeah, there's Terry and there's Patricia that I just signed Patricia up yesterday, but Terry I think came on board the 12th, I want to say. So welcome new people for joining, and also people that are just joining us today on our live, welcome to you as well. Let us know where you're from and we'll try to plug you in with the wreathing community.
Yep. And we have our other mat too from Walmart that's 24 by 36. This one matches better.
It was just pretty.
And then Marie asked, where did you purchase the sign and the ball ribbon? The sign was from Personally Yours.
Yeah, this came
Etsy.
from Personally Yours on Etsy. So she's actually on. So just go to Etsy and type in personal and then Lee and then yours all together, and you'll be able to purchase your sign from her.
And then the ribbon was from
Craft Outlet. Craft Outlet, Craft Outlet, Lowe's. Got it? Okay. So, let's move forward. Otherwise, we're going to spend so much time with people that are popping in going, where did you get this? Where did you get that? Replay will be available at the tail end of this. And if you type your question in, either Steve will go ahead and comment, or one of the other ladies will jump in that knows the answer if you have a question.
Yep, and the peanuts are just for prop.
Yeah, I have like 24 jars of these left over from Kaylee and Isaiah's wedding. So they were just a prop for my photo. So adding the rest of the pipe cleaners to the 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame, we are wiring together the 2 inner in between each of the weld marks. So we're putting 1 on the inner 2, and then we're going to be putting 2 on the outer 2 rails. So I'm just color coordinating them so that once we get our Pouf base in here, then you'll see that I'm going to coordinate the red and blue colors to bring out the sign, so we don't lose the sign. What's wrong?
Nothing.
What's wrong?
That jumped on the camera and messed up the camera.
Oh, he messed up your camera angle.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how it's all wired for us. I'm going to take the outside ones and just kind of push them to the outside edge so that I can go ahead and get my Pouf going. And we're going to do 10-inch Poufs. So I'm just positioning this so it'll go fairly easy, just like so. And we're going to start by dropping this to the bottom. And I'm going to do this similar to what we did. What wreath did we do? Where we did this at the very beginning. I'm starting my Pouf this way.
Not gonna fold it?
Not gonna fold it. I'm actually going to zip tie this underneath one of my interior pipe cleaners. So if I flip this over, what I'm doing is I'm taking all this beginning mesh and I'm going to zip tie this to one of my rails.
Oh, that's awesome, Debbie. She said she bought those same supplies a few weeks ago.
The exact same ones?
Yep.
You know, I couldn't have bought the ones from Lowe's, but I'm thinking
No, but probably the baseball
mesh
ribbon
and
maybe
yeah. So I'm just adding this to one rail. This way I'm not wasting that 5-inch fold, and then it also prevents me from having to deal with that half of a folded loop. So this way I can actually complete 6 on the inner without having to have like 6 1/2. So from here, I'm just going to do 10-inch Poufs on the inner, and then I'll go and we'll do it to the outer.
Hi,
So
gals, just joining.
I will fluff when I'm finished. So here's another 10 inches. Oh, I know what I was thinking of when we did the bubble wreath. We were doing 10-inch Poufs, and I did the same starter method.
Yeah.
Where we folded and just did it right at the beginning. It just helps to give you a little bit of extra material. So this should be super cute. I'm hoping it's super cute. We'll see if it works.
This is the public group, so feel free to share all you want, like and share.
Yeah, and we got our website finally up and working. It's a little intimidating to get it going, but I think I'll get used to it. It just took a while because I am not tech savvy in the slightest when it comes to the ease at which Shopify says that they can allow you to go in and start up your website. It's not that easy. I mean, I was Googling YouTube videos trying to figure out just how to put a header up there, and I was like, oh, I should just give up. And then I'm hearing those words saying, you've got to diversify your revenue. You know, what happens, God forbid, like Facebook, when Facebook crashed and Instagram crashed, if that's your main bulk of traffic, that affects your business. So I had to just bite the bullet and hire someone to do it for me. So much easier. So I've got the 6 inner. So right here is where I'm going to jump down, and I'm not going to jump down right here. It's too close. I'm actually going to jump over here and start my 10 and then go 10 all the way around the outside and finish up right where we started. So here's our other 10.
Susan said it's funny she made a baseball wreath this week too.
Did she really?
Yeah. And Gail, yes she did. She received her package this morning.
But my aprons are too small.
But the aprons are too small, yeah. So
I'll have to show you. Like based on aprons, it just they're too small this way, and then they're really long at the bottom, but I don't know, it's just weird. So I like them. I was gonna wear it, but I was like, they're too small. People would be like, did you put on your daughter's apron? So, but they look really good. I'm smiling. But And I got the package today, believe it or not. So this completely changed the design because I was going to do something else today, Easter spring related, but it was waiting on supplies that I didn't get until just a little while ago. So we will save that for next time.
Gail said that's not good.
I know. I'm sorry. It's good in some ways, I guess. So maybe what I'll do is I'll find them and then have the apron shipped directly to you. And now that the website was created, kind of need to change the name in a sense. It's still going to be Kats Creations, but now it's going to be Kats Creations N, the letter N, more, which means that it's not just going to be things I make, but the business and coaching class as well. So all that stuff's going to be available on my website now. Super excited. I just got to figure out how to get it all on there. So what questions do you guys have about the wreath, the process, anything that I can help you with? So I'm just twisting these on here 1.5 times.
Jen, she got the sign from Personally Yours on Etsy. So it's personal and then Lee and then yours on Etsy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's got 2 L's in it. So when you're searching for it on Etsy, make sure that you include her name, which is Lee in the middle. So it's like personal yours, but it's personally yours. It's a play on words. And if you're in my private group, you guys get discounts through Lee. So make sure you check out, if you're not sure what the discounts are, go to the announcement section at the top of the private group page, and it'll list all the discounts and vendors. And then you can find Lee's, and it'll tell you exactly what to do and how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, Gene, I'll zoom back in here in a second. Diane asked, can you use an 18-inch ring, and how big would you have to make the poofs?
I think on an 18-inch, it has 9 sections. So that was a little bit of a challenge because I was going to use a work frame wreath to do this one, but the downside when you're dealing with an odd number on the inner or outer is if you're trying to toggle between 2 different colors, you're going to kind of come up with 2 colors butted up against each other. So you have to have even number. You'd either have to have, like, create a fake section, like it has to be 10 on the outside, 8 on the inside, or find a diameter ring frame that would allow you to do an even number of sections. Problem to solve would be, like in this case, if I wasn't doing red and blue and I did red, white, and blue, I could get that to work.
Oh, that's cute. Susan said she found a toddler's mitt at Walmart for $4.
Oh.
And she put the baseball in it, attached it to the center.
That is super
That's
cute.
cute.
There are so many different ideas that you can do with a baseball wreath, and it doesn't have to just be for a baseball fan. It could be Little League, which is pretty much the case here. Number one, it could be for a sports family where you are dealing with baseball practice. This would apply. This could also apply to people who are pretty hardcore baseball fans.
Yep. Peggy said, hey y'all, just finished therapy. Hope it went well. Hope you're feeling okay.
Yeah. Hoping she feels better. I know after physical therapy, you can be a little bit on the sore side. Okay, so it's looking a little thin right now. I'm finishing out my last section, and then what I'm going to do, because while this is a good quality deco mesh, it's a little on the thin side. So I'm going to show you how we can fix that before we go in and add our blue and red deco mesh. And there's not much of it left on the roll to warrant, you know, keeping it and trying to utilize it somewhere else. It's the only roll I have. So what I'm going to do, because I haven't fluffed yet, is in between your inner and outer poofs, we're gonna run the rest of the Deco mesh on this roll. It's enough to get it all the way around once, depending upon how you section it and where you decide to tie it. And like I said, because there's no sense in keeping, won't be enough to go all the way around to create another wreath. We may as well just use it here.
Right.
So I'm going to take another 10 inches and I'm going to actually jump. I'm going to zigzag back in and out between an upper and a lower, depending on where the pipe cleaners are, to kind of thicken this up. And I'm debating, I'm going to try to undo it and just kind of squish them in there. Most of the time I don't undo it, but I think I might need the length of my pipe cleaners. And so I'm on the upper, so what I'm going to do is jump down and do a lower. So I'm parting the C's as it were, and I'm going to jump right down here.
Peggy said the therapy was painful, but now she can just wear the sling, which is good, I guess.
Yeah,
And
for
then
your
she
shoulder.
said she's sitting with an ice pack now. So, hi Nancy, hi Sharon, hi gals just joining.
So I jump down, and now I'm kind of fluffing as I go on the middle, not the uppers and the lowers just yet. So now I'm going to, this one's actually too short of a jump, so I'm actually going to go a little bit longer. Make sure I have one up and one down. So I'm going to go all the way. Let's see. That's a pretty big jump. I'm going to probably go half and just go right to the top. Because if I do a 10-inch poof right to the inside, it's gonna be too big and too bubbly. So we'll do a 5-inch one just to fill that space. And then now we can do a 10 and jump to the bottom, which will be over here. So we're zigging and zagging. But you can do this method with any other, if you can't get a 14-inch wreath frame, you can do 16-inch. I believe it has 7 sections. I think. I have to look at my 16s. I just picked the Dollar Tree ones because it's inexpensive and it helps keep your costs down a little bit. If you can keep the costs down, that benefits your customers as well. So we're going up, and I'm just going to add this one because this is a pretty large pipe cleaner.
Yep.
Any other
No
questions?
questions? No questions. They're just, some of the gals are asking internally where they live. A couple gals want to try to meet up.
That's so cool. I like that you
Yeah.
guys can meet at.
Terry and Rolanda saying they live kind of close to each other
That is awesome.
in Wisconsin.
That is really good. Okay, so now I'm just gonna jump down, making sure my inners stay in the inner and I'm not going over an inner that's, this one had pulled down to the bottom. Okay, so down to the bottom, and it's just to create a really good thick base. So we'll run it all the way. And I can pull this one. So now I'm just kind of fluffing as I go, my inners, my outers. And then I'll jump back to the inside, and I'm starting to pick up the roll off the floor now. So about half of this to make our inward jump because it's too close. It also makes the pipe cleaners easier to find rather than doing white. It would be a bit of a challenge to try to find them in the midst of this.
Mm-hmm. Cheryl said she loves how that mesh sparkles.
I like using the metallics because it creates that look. Trying to get my pipe cleaner.
Hi gals, just joining. Hi Lorene, hi
Apart.
Vera.
Okay. So we're gonna go over here to this side, and we're almost finished the base, believe it or not. Trying to run it much quicker. And then we'll fluff. There we go. And as you can see, here's where I'm at, so I'll just actually pull the rest of this off the roll. Let's see how we have it fastened. Gotta love the masking tape. But at least it's not stapled.
Thanks for sharing, Peggy.
Oh. I think this will do really well throughout all the baseball season, especially if you keep it pretty generic. There we go. Okay. Okay, slip my fingers. Now it's a little easier. Okay. This is where I like the softer mesh better because it's not as stiff. I mean, I guess this has its benefits and that it's stiff, it'll support a lot, like the baseballs. But I like working with the softer burlap mesh. It's just
Hi Marcel or Marcy. No, I don't see Brenda or Libby on.
I don't know where they're at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thanks Jean. She said, welcome to the best teacher in group.
Thank you very much.
And then there's a Dee Dee says, hello Cat and Hubby, love you Reese. I found you on YouTube and this is my first live with you.
Thank you.
Debbie or Dee Dee, where you at? Where you from?
Yeah, we'll try to get you hooked up. Wow.
I know.
Like somebody's driving their motorcycle pretty fast down the street. We try to get you plugged into a community close to you.
Yeah. Hi Jessica. Brenda Westbury said, sorry I was doing dishes. Could you give me the name of your new website again? Are you gonna?
Oh, yeah, it's just KatsCreationsN, the letter N, more.com. So, sad, huh? I've purchased the domain back in August of 2018 and have just now.
So it's KatsCreationsNMore.com?
KatsCreationsNMore.com, not and, A-N-D, it's
right.
N. Yeah, it's like KatsCreationsNMore. So we're good there.
Just got started today, right? Or last night?
Technically, it's actually been up there for a while with the gentleman who's been doing all the web building for me. He's kind of played with it and it's been available, but I haven't announced it to anyone. I've been afraid, believe it or not. I've been afraid. Scary thing. Because I'm like, what happens if I'm like super busy? What happens if I can't maintain the website? What? And I'm like, oh, just do it. 20 seconds of bravery. That's what I tell my private group all the time. Just suck it up. It's like jumping into a cold pool. You know it's cold, but you don't want to stick your foot in because if you do that, it may, you might not want to jump in after all. So I'll just do it. Don't feel it, just jump in.
Yeah, Jessica said, I'm excited to see how amazing your wreath turns out tonight. Congrats on the website.
Thank you.
And then Deb and Marie said, beautiful website. And I saw the new site today. It looks great.
Thanks. I'm pretty picky because when I first was working with him, he asked if I wanted it, you know, did I have any specific look? And I said, no, I just really want to keep it very simple. I want people to be able to navigate in there really easily.
Yeah.
I don't want all big and fancy. I don't want a lot of graphics. I want people to be able to use it from their web. So let me explain what I just did. I took the last little piece that I had. This is all I have left. So you can run it all the way through on a 21-inch Deco mesh. brought it to the inside, here's where I started. So it's letting you know I was able to go all the way around the inside once. I zip tied it to the cross beam, so this way it doesn't allow any movement of this around that section of the wreath frame. And then I'll just cut this excess off, and that's it. So minimal waste, honestly. You really are using it all the way to the end. So now, let me just fluff this really quick, because we didn't fluff. So let me just grab, because this way I can grab my pipe cleaners too. What?
Marie said that you're organized and easy to follow, and then Ben and Caitlin are on.
Oh.
Said, hi, Kat and Steve from rainy old England. Wreath looks great as always.
That's crazy.
Hi, Ben. Hi, Kate. It's 1 o'clock in the morning out there.
Yeah, well, it just depends on what time you get up and...
Yeah, they're late. They're late people. They like staying up late.
Somehow, I guess we're turning into late people.
We are.
Late as of late.
Sleeping in late.
We'd
I
like to
wish.
sleep in more, yeah. So I'm trying to pull my pipe cleaners to the outside. That way when I get ready to lay my color in, it's easy for me to find. And then this way I can kind of fluff as I go. And all I'm doing is taking my poofs and I'm just grabbing them from one end to the other and pulling the Deco mesh apart. So I'm trying to give it that poofy look, so it's not laying on itself. So you're just opening your material. It's like fanning it out, just like so. And then this way we needed it for the middle because our sign is a little smaller than like the 12-inch that we're used to. So we want to make sure it has a pretty good base to sit on.
And that Dee Dee is also from Wisconsin, so maybe she can meet up with a couple other girls.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And Tigo, she said.
Okay. I'm trying to pull these apart.
And Rhonda said, love the bunny wreath.
Oh, the one in the back? That's my rustic
Either that
rabbit.
or is that on the website?
Everything is. Except this one. Okay, not everything. I haven't put everything up there. Just some stuff. Because there's some people, honestly, who they don't go on Facebook. They don't really go social media.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some people who would only prefer to do business with people. They say a reputable business is one that has its own website. I tend to disagree, but in light of what happened this week with social media, I have to say you've got to come up with plan B. Because when all you do is rely on plan A and that fails, you have a lot of time off. You can create, but see, now this is our base. So this is what inner, outer, and then zigzag through the middle looks like. Are you able to see that?
Yeah, it looks pretty thick.
Okay. So now I have taken the red and the blue, because if we just put the sign here, it's a little too much. It's way too much white. You need to pop that with those red and blues. So this is where I'm going to come in and add just a touch. I don't want to completely lose all the white, but I also want to create a contrast for the sign to make the sign stand out more. So I'm going to take this royal blue and the red. I've cut these to 12-inch pieces, and this is where my pipe cleaners now are going to come into play. Where the pipe cleaners are is where I'm matching this to those color pipe cleaners. So we're just going to do a 12-inch ruffle or a scrunch, however you want to call it, a bow tie. And I'm just going to come in and I'm going to lay this color in on top of that. You don't have to do it this way. You could take the ribbons and go ribbons right on top of the Deco mesh. But I like a good quality product, so I like to really thicken it up and make it pretty heavy duty. So blue's gonna go where the blue pipe cleaners are, and red will go where the red pipe cleaners are.
Susan asked, are you still going to do Etsy?
Yes, I'm still keeping Etsy. So Etsy is still, that was my home. But now I'm also doing, whatchamacallit, The website. So the website allows me to say, hey, if you want to join the private group, you just go to the website, go all the way down to the bottom, and it says join Kats private group. It gives you the link, takes you right there to sign up, and then it takes you to the Facebook group site so you can click and request to join. So much easier. Etsy did not allow you the functionality of being able to do that. So there's pros and cons of both. So is this going to be a learning curve for me to figure out website stuff now?
Hi gals, just joining. It's funny, Molly is on, like Tim and Molly.
Oh yeah. So is it Molly or is it Tim?
It's probably Molly, but Tim might be watching too.
Oh. Maybe they tune in to watch you.
No.
So I'm just coming in and adding, this could go as a great base for a patriotic wreath as well. So always be thinking, I like the way that looks. That would look good on a 4th of July. Change out the sign, add different embellishments, maybe some, what do you call them, stars? The little stars on the pipe cleaners. So we're just adding these to pop those colors. So
Hi gals, just joining.
we're almost done with the inside. Then we'll do our outside, add our ribbons. These are where the baseballs should line up. They should sit on the inner ones, if I remember correctly. So 3 baseballs and a sign. So there's our pyramid for the embellishments. There we go. Any other questions you have?
Simone said actually, I created my own website through Wix,
Oh,
which
okay.
I guess is another option, right? Other than
It is.
Shopify.
Yeah.
She said, but I agree that maintaining it is the greatest challenge.
Yes. Now, having somebody set everything up is easy. So that's the beauty of it. All the coding is already done. So all I have to do is, I was telling him I kind of want it like Etsy where you just go and click add a listing and you fill in all the blanks. But no, it doesn't function that way, but it is similar. So with that, I feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah. And Jean, believe it or not, I did not help her out one bit with her Shopify website. She did it all. She hired the guy and figured stuff out all on her own.
Yes. And I'll be filling in the private group on some additional resources you could use if you are not tech savvy like I am not.
She did an amazing job.
He did an amazing job. It's just when you start networking with people.
Well, the person you hired.
Yeah, well, the person I hired, but then the person who told me about the company, and they said you can just go online and just hire somebody. So I was like, I don't want to hire someone. I want to be able to do it myself, because if it breaks, I want to be able to fix it. So it's just getting over having my hands in all the aspects of running your business and just realizing there's some people out there that this just comes natural to them. Coding and all that stuff is just, they live for that. So that's the benefit.
Hi, Libby.
So as you can see, the white is still popping through. It's not completely taken away from the white, which is where the 12-inch ruffle dimensions came from.
Molly said it's March Madness. Right, it's basketball season right now.
Yes, it is.
Need to do a basketball wreath. Getting ready to watch Duke versus University of North Carolina.
I have basketball stuff. I just figured, you know what? My sign came in yesterday or the day before, so I was like waiting to see if I was going to get Gail's order in, and not being, I knew it was coming, I just wasn't sure when it was going to be here.
And somebody asked, she's using a 21-inch full roll of Deco match, the white as the base.
Yes.
And then she's using the red and the blue, scrunching it. What would they cut to? 12?
12.
12 inches. Yep.
Because I want the white through here.
Right. And yes, for all this Deco mesh, you can and should use a wood burning tool.
Except the 21 inch, because there's no need to cut it.
Right.
It's already done.
Right.
I'm using the whole thing. Okay. So I'm grabbing. And I'm
You just shouldn't use the wood burning tool for anything that's a burlap or the poly burlap.
Anything that has natural fibers in it.
Right.
So it has little cotton threads in it, you can't use your wood burning tool. But what a difference. Like, I was looking at wreaths that I had from last year versus wreaths this year, and it's not just technique, it's just cutting your materials. And talking to other wreath makers and asking, you know, do you guys use wood burning tools? And they're like, no. I'm like, you might want to try it, because it eliminates all your frays. Okay, most of them.
Most of them.
I
It
don't
does.
have anything here.
It seems like it really
on
cuts
my
down
cutting.
like 90% of the frays.
I would say 95. Especially if you're using the poly deco mesh like this, where it's just that polypropylene substance. There's no natural fibers in it, so you're not having to deal with any pieces coming out.
Yeah, it was Trixie who asked that, so we gave her the length of the Ruffles, 12 inches.
12 inches.
And then Susan said baseball and patriotic go together, nothing more American than baseball.
Right?
Yep.
So this just teaches you a base that you can use on either or anything for that matter that's red, white, and blue. I'm trying to think of what else would be red, white, and blue besides Labor Day, 4th of July, Memorial Day.
Maybe New Year's.
Red, white, and blue? Not really. Maybe baseball teams or football teams that are red, white, and blue themed.
Yeah.
You could do this and then just change out the embellishments and do footballs or football helmets.
Nancy said, I wish my fingers could walk that fast like yours when you do the ruffle.
It's just, I think because ruffles are just, I had to cut all my nails off. Because if I get my nails, it just made it much more of a challenge.
And then Kathy asked, if you were going to do a softball wreath, what color base would you use? Do you think yellow would look right?
Oh, because they have that, it's like a fluorescent green, right?
The softballs are like a fluorescent yellow, yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen, you could go do white base, you could go natural burlap color. I wouldn't pull the green per se into the wreath, because I think the softballs stand out enough as it is.
Yeah.
But I would play with things that look complementary to those. You know? Because I wouldn't go lime green, because then your softballs get lost in your deco mesh.
Yeah. Unless you could find like lime green ribbon, that'd be kind of tough.
I think finding the sign.
The sign would be tough. Unless you had it made by personally yours.
You could. Or you know, chalk couture, you can make your own signs that way.
Right, yeah.
How did they come up short?
Yeah, that's true. Veterans Day.
Yeah, but that's still part of your patriotic.
It is. Yeah, and they said there's a lot of baseball teams like the Cubs, Red Sox, Patriots.
Can you grab the wood burning tool?
You came up one short?
I came up one short, and you know what's crazy is I sat here and counted everything in sets, and I came up one short. Go figure. Because I have a red pipe cleaner right here, and there's nothing in it. But I have red deco mesh there. Here, let me have that. That way I can just go ahead and plug that in. You have that? Thanks. So, wood burning tool. You get a lesson in wood burning. So, I bought my wood burning tool, which it's going to look kind of funky. The blade on the end of my wood burning tool is actually angled. It's like a chisel point, but angled. So when you're wood burning, you're actually burning along that chisel part.
It's below you on your foot.
Oh, well.
I'll get it right.
Okay, so you found it. I'll still show you it. Just because I said I was going to do it anyway. So we'll just cut an extra piece. But it has wood burning temperatures. I keep mine right at 400 degrees. So, and use a tempered glass cutting board. So Walmart sells them. It has like the textured on one side and then smooth on the other. And then I bought a smaller cutting mat that allows me to see my measurements. So let me go ahead and finish doing these, and then I can push that all out of the way. So I'll show you how we wood burn.
Thanks, gal. Yeah, a lot of the gals said check the floor, and I figured it might have fell underneath. So.
How funny though, I was like, kept pulling them up in twos.
Well, we had that ledge. It's hard to see under that ledge.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
maybe I did that
Thank
when I was
you, gals.
cutting. You guys are bomb.
Denise, yeah, we got the sign from Lee at Personally Yours.
Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one.
She's on too, so she can always message you.
Or just have Lee put her link in as a comment, and then everyone can just click on that, the link. So it's just going to be etsy.com/shop/personal, just like it sounds, and then no spaces, Lee, capital Lee, and then capital YOURS. So there's the base, it's finished. So let me show you really quick how to do your wood burning. So remember, you can only do it with the poly Deco mesh. So I'm going to use the red. We'll run the red out. So knowing that I'm cutting these at 12 inches, I think this cutting board is
Jean, no, she's not reopening the pipe cleaner. She's just twist tying right
laying
over.
them right on the top. So this is trying to do the dimensions of the cutting board. This is a 15 by 12 inch cutting board. Yes. So you want to be able to see your lines all the way through. And if you notice, if you've ever pulled out a piece of the Deco mesh, you'll see that it's comprised of a bunch of squares. And those make up your rows and your columns. So what you're going to do is, because generally when you open up your roll of Deco mesh, your start is kind of funky. It's not a perfect straight line. So you can straighten that up, so when you pull it out, you actually have up here and up here meet at the same spot. So then what you're going to do is you're going to start at your 12 and you're going to follow that row or that column all the way down, following it even as it kind of twists and turns, because when we're pulling our Deco mesh roll, we're not pulling it evenly. We're kind of pulling it kind of wonky. So in order for it to stay straight.
Yeah. Cheryl asked you don't wear a mask. No, we don't really wear a mask for this.
Normally I just leave my doors open. So
yeah, we have pretty good ventilation through here.
So just like so. And then what it does is it cauterizes your ends so that you don't have any fraying. So that's wood burning 101.
Yep.
So, and you saw how quickly it actually goes through. So it gives you a clean cut. And if you look at my workspace, there's no frays at all.
Yeah.
Even with playing with all of it.
Denise, we usually don't wear a mask when we're cutting just the Deco mesh, but
Yeah.
when she is cutting or doing anything with burlap, yes, she wears a mask.
Normally
should
when
for
I'm
burlap.
cutting it, what you don't see, because we're live, is I have this window and that patio door open, and then I have our front door, which is behind the camera, so that there's a vent, you know, free-flowing air going through there. Cutting on piece isn't enough to really worry about for me. Now,
Denise asked an interesting question. I'm thinking about doing a Seattle Seahawks wreath, so what base colors should I use?
what are the colors
There's
for the
silver, dark blue, and like the lime green or yellow.
Seahawks? Is it a lime green or yellow?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Tell me what the colors are. I would go with a neutral base, so any of my base colors would be white or burlap, and then you would pull your colors. Like this would technically be a really good California Angels color because theirs is red, white, and blue. isn't the Saints or New England Patriots are this color too. So just knowing that, you want to pull two primary colors but have a neutral base. And I wouldn't try to match everything, but now you'll see that when we add our sign, once we add the ribbons and the baseball, it creates a contrast. So I'm just pulling from the two colors in here.
Yeah, Seattle's the fluorescent green, silver, and like a dark blue, navy blue.
So forest green, navy blue.
Navy blue,
Okay.
silver or light gray,
Okay.
and fluorescent green.
Wow.
Yeah.
For me, I probably wouldn't go with the fluorescent green, but like you said, I would accent that maybe with the ribbons.
I'd still probably do a white base with gray and blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then just do the ribbons in the lime green, because
Yeah.
that's such a powerful color. You just don't want it to completely take away from everything.
Yeah. Or you could do a white with like the silver foil base. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm looking for my tool. Here it is. I need to put 2 holes in my sign, because the sign doesn't come with holes in them. I'm going to probably go side to side. So I'm going to try to stay in here with the white. So white on my sign to keep it straight. I think that's straight. So let me show you how easy the hole punch is. It's just like a hole punch in paper, but this is hole punch in metal. And the signs are not that thick. So it just, you punch the hole in. I turn it to kind of round out to make the hole a little bit wider. And then I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. Just like so. You can get these on Amazon. They are 1.5 millimeter. What I will do is I'll go back on the Facebook page after we go to replay, and I'll give you the links to all this stuff that you see us use. So now I'm going to add my white pipe cleaners to this. Here we go. And these are just going to go right through. There we go. So I'll try to keep them even.
Denise, it's up to you. I would still probably do the base in white with silver foil, high foil, and then use like the gray and navy blue Deco mesh as accent.
Or what you could do, now that I'm thinking about it, is you can go a white and navy striped Deco mesh, and then add the gray, and then do the pops of the green.
Yeah.
You said it's a lime green.
Yep.
Because Deco mesh comes in that white and navy striped.
Right.
And you can use that, and in that way you can kind of save on materials and not have to use so much.
Yeah, if you did a gray base, I think it would kind of look too dull. It would dull
looked
it out.
too dirty.
Yeah.
That's the problem with gray. So I'm going to take my sign now. I'm going to add my sign to the middle. So I'm just going to feed this down to my frame.
Yeah, Phillies is also pretty much the same color.
Of what? This?
The gray, blue, and
I have to think
I
about
think it has
that.
got lime green in it too.
I'm not a big sports fan, as you can tell, right? So I'm just going to lightly twist this just so that I don't pull it out from the other side to make sure I get it all centered. So I'm just taking this and poking this all the way down through the Deco mesh.
The fillers are just red, white, and blue.
Is it?
Yeah.
So same color here.
Yeah.
And I want the baseball to sit down in here. So I'm kind of pulling it. And that's the reason why I punch the holes. Because sometimes if you use the adhesive tabs, if you don't use the glue around the tabs, sometimes depending upon the weather, it can pop the tabs off, especially when you're adding some tension to the underside. Like if you're pulling it pretty tight. And I found this out because when I was storing my military wreaths, and here in the desert it gets pretty cold during the winter, it actually popped one of the sides of my signs off.
Yep.
So, of course, taking them down to military cemetery doesn't look very good when you're
They pop off.
when they're popping off. And they're like, that's not going to do that, right? I'm like, no, I'm going to fix that. Can't have that happen. So, okay, just making sure. So now I'm going to twist those.
Yep.
Make
Grace
sure.
a good wreath for Cardinals too. Cardinals is mainly red and white.
Oh, and Chicago White Sox too, right? Isn't it red?
Well, the
Or
Red Sox. Yeah.
It could also be Boston
Red Sox, yeah.
Boston Red Sox, but I don't think they have blue. Okay, so does that look centered to you?
Point it a little bit. It needs to come down that way. It does.
Down to the corner?
Yeah.
Like.
Yep.
Okay. So, yes, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Now we're
good
going to attach the baseballs. So let me show you how we attach the baseballs. There's a couple different ways. I went online and looked at different ways you can attach baseballs. Although I had done it for someone who wanted an angel's wreath, and we used they wanted real baseballs. So, you know, you're kind of limited to what you can do, especially if you want the balls to be able to be used if they want to take it apart and give it to their kids. So, two options. You could take it, put it in a vise, recommended, put it in an actual vise. You can take a wood screw and actually screw straight down into the ball and keep your screw head up just a touch so that you can wrap a pipe cleaner around it. And once you wrap your pipe cleaner around it, you can secure it to the frame of your wreath. Here, I didn't really want to damage the ball, so to speak, but it does have this really nice stitching. So, using a fork, highly technical crafting tools,
Yep.
I figured out I wanted to keep it to where it says official league ball on the front, which meant that I had to keep it kind of close here, so it has like that China embossed stamp at the back. So I go with the inner thread.
Denise, yes, those are real baseballs.
Yes, real baseballs. So I kind of go up underneath the stitching, like so. Not enough to stretch it out, and I'm going to take my pipe cleaner. It takes some effort, so just have lots of patience when you're doing it, because I've done it with two already. So sometimes you don't want to go underneath the leather. You just want to get the stitching
Up enough, yep.
up enough so your pipe cleaner can slide through. So this is where your kitchen fork and needle nose pliers will come in handy, and it will pull it through. You just got to get it to where you got your metal piece in there, and it goes. Sometimes you can get it and it goes in the first time real smooth, other times not so smooth. But I don't want to stretch it out so much. But sometimes what happens is the threads get stuck.
Right. In the pipe cleaner.
Yeah. The little piece that you have in here. There we go. So once we get it through, I'm not actually pulling the stitching up. I'm just pulling it enough to get that wire through.
And you're not cutting it at all.
Not cutting it. That's why you use the fork. And this one's actually going to be really tough because the threads are really stitched in there tight.
She's using a fork, so it's she won't really poke herself.
That's
a
the
good
key
thing
thing,
about
right?
it. It's kind of dull.
So we're going to come back in here and we're going to try to loop it. These ones are actually stitched into the leather pretty hard.
Yeah, they are.
I think this is the one you worked on, right?
Probably.
Probably. Because the ones I had weren't so tough. There we go. So make sure. And all we're trying to do is just get that started. So it's just a matter of playing with it.
I can see the forks through it.
Yeah, the forks through it, but this
then
is the one that's embedded. So this stitching is actually really into the leather. This is probably really tight stitching. I wish I could just go straight in behind here, but the minute I let that tension off,
yeah, the stitching starts to suck back.
and then it goes back under the leather. There you go. So you can see, it just takes some finagling, but it gives you a really secure point. I'm trying to make them as even as I can.
Yeah, they can see it pretty good.
Okay. But I'm trying to make my pipe cleaners even. So now it's centered here. So I've done it on the other three. This is what it looks like on the back. But if they want to take them off, if they choose not to use this, they have 3 perfectly good baseballs. So all they have to do is either cut the pipe cleaner, pull it out, or just pull the pipe cleaner out real carefully.
Yeah.
So we will add our baseballs. So I'm thinking maybe one up here, one over here,
And one down.
and one at the bottom, right down in here.
Yep.
What do you think? Kind of nestled like that?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to take my blue pipe cleaner. Since I'm not going to use this, this is where the baseball is going to sit. I'm going to go ahead and remove the extra pieces. And I'm going to feed my pipe cleaner for my baseball all the way down
Through the Deco mesh.
through the Deco mesh to the wire frame. So I've got one side. The human brain is a marvel, and we don't have to really look.
What do you think, Gal, so far? Give it lots of likes and loves so far. Looks good.
Okay, go down. Figures the end that I had was the one that was going through that really tough part of the leather, and now it's getting stuck. I can feel it. Yep, I know. Should probably pull those off. Okay. It's just a finicky little end of a pipe cleaner. Okay, I'm gonna find my other one. There you go. So I'm gonna take it. And I'm gonna go up and around one of my, right now it's on just a single rail. So right now it's just gonna, if I was to tie it, there's no rail. They're both on the same.
So it would just slide.
So it'd slide back and forth. So now what I'm gonna do is just make sure our ball sat where it's supposed to. So there's one. Now we'll trim this one off so that our baseball has something to sit on. We will, hopefully he'll go through much quicker. Just depends on which end you're working with. The end you force fed through the baseball, or the other end that you didn't. And of
Hi
course,
Jessica, yeah, all the Deco mesh is from Craft Outlet.
yes, well, except the white. It was
The
from
white
Lowe's.
is from Lowe's, but you can
Most
get a
of
good
the
base.
time.
Yeah, you can get a good base 21-inch from Craft Outlet.
Right.
That's
Go
where
ahead.
Kat likes to get most of her Deco mesh from.
Go ahead and secure that one. Okay. I'm going to come down to the bottom and put the last one in. I think you have to have baseballs in a baseball wreath.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure it's label side correct.
Is it upside down?
It is the way you're looking at it right now. Okay. There's one. Yeah, once I do it this way, it's fine.
Yeah, they do, Janet. They add a little bit of extra weight.
Not much, but it's just nice. You could do, like I said, you could opt for the plastic if you wanted to go with something a little lighter.
I like how the ball field in the sign matches the Rawlings on the ball.
The what?
How the cursive is on the ball field, it matches the Rawlings on the balls.
It does.
Yeah.
So is that straight?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're just gonna add our ribbons to the outside and the inside. So knowing that I have where it's blue, I'm gonna add a red ribbon tail, and then we're gonna come back in and add some half bows. The 2.5 inch ribbons are all cut to 13-inch pieces. So I went a little bit longer so that they'll fan out away from the wreath. So I'm not opening my pipe cleaners. I'm just adding these right to the top. Let me take
Sharon, the
this.
baseballs you can get anywhere. You can get them at Big Five. You can order them online.
I ordered them online.
Yeah, you can order them on Amazon.
They come in a pack of 12. So I just figured, you know what, at some point I'll probably get around to doing another one. Or if you get a special order,
Yep.
you have authentic baseballs, which is what my customer wanted. They wanted real baseballs on their angel's wreath.
Yep. And you can do the same with the softballs.
Yep. You can even
A bit
take
bigger, though.
softballs from your practice. You know, if you play softball,
Yeah.
just grab a couple of your old softballs, do the exact same thing that I just showed you, and then you're good. So I'm just going to go in, and I'm just twisting these to the center, and then I'm going to add my baseball ribbon to them. And then, if I like everything, then I'll go through and trim all your pipe cleaners off. So I'm just going around really quickly. And it's actually not that heavy. I mean, it's heavier because of the baseballs, but not extraordinarily heavy. So all these have been cut with the dovetail cut, so I'll show you how to do those as well. So I didn't save any, but I think I have one extra ribbon, so I'll show you how to do that. So I'm just kind of taking them and fanning them out and away.
Vi said it looks awesome already. She said it a
Thank
while
you.
ago. Hi, Vi.
This is technically, by legalities, the only wreath we can list that is sports themed,
Right.
because it's not sports team specific.
So that's what Denise asked earlier. I need to find a Seattle Seahawks sign.
Oh.
Are we allowed to use a logo sign? If you're making it for yourself,
Or for a special
Yes.
order, you can. You just can't advertise that
Correct.
you're selling a Seattle Seahawks wreath.
right?
Because you would have to own the licensing rights. And it doesn't seem fair, because you can go to Hobby Lobby, you can go to Amazon, and you can purchase Seattle Seahawks signs. So you would think, by law, if we can purchase the signs, we should be able to sell a wreath with said sign. But
No, you're reselling it. Yeah.
what you're doing is you're advertising a Seattle Seahawks wreath. and therefore playing on the trademark
Right.
side of things. Because if you didn't have a Seahawks sign in it, you could sell the wreath, but nobody would know it was a Seahawks wreath. If that makes sense.
Barbara said, "Hi Ken, Steve, love this wreath."
Thank you.
Hi Sharon.
It'll be a baseball season wreath. And I know for a fact that I dropped ribbon on the floor when I was picking them up.
Did you?
So I was like, yeah, I'm fine though. I can pick it up. It's right here by my foot. So I have a couple pieces of it on the ground. Because I was like, well, wait, I'm not going to have enough. Like the red Deco mesh. Yeah, it's right here. So I'm just playing opposite colors. So if I have red Deco mesh, I'm adding the blue tail. If I have blue Deco mesh, red tails. Just so they complement one another. Oh no, I have enough. I'm fine. But I might come back in the middle, maybe. Okay. I think the longest time, besides doing the Deco mesh, was trying to feed the pipe cleaner through the baseball. Okay. So lots of sparkles. Okay, so I saved an extra piece. This was an extra one I had. So to dovetail cut, let's pretend that this started with the square, because not everybody knows how to do them. You take your wired ribbon, you fold it in half, so you have wired sides, and you're going to cut from the folded side to the point, not this way, to the point or the front of your ribbon, and then that gives you dovetail cut. And it looks super pretty, and you don't have to cut in and then cut in and try to meet in the middle. So now we're going to go in and do the same thing with our baseball ribbon, but this time we're going to do what's called a half bow. So we're going to kind of make a 2-inch loop. We're going to pinch it together. It's going to go inside the pipe cleaner, and what we're going to be doing is taking it, once it's twisted in there, is we're going to take it and twist it out like this, so that this becomes our inside. So I kind of just showed you how to do it.
And that's going to go on the top of all the 2.5 inch ribbons.
Well, one's the baseball, and then the other's baseball stitching.
Right.
So I'm going to alternate. And then this is where I know that this is the end of it for me. I will come in and cut my pipe cleaners off whatever piece is left, and then I will take it and twist it so that that sharp edge is behind the ribbon, and then it kind of creates a look like this. And then the other one is just baseball stitching. So we're going to do this on the red and the baseballs on the blue. So we'll come in and put these on all of them to tie our theme all the way to the outside. Just keep this open. And then this way, everything's all pretty and it all matches. And that's why doing it this way, it could be a baseball, professional baseball wreath. It could also be Little League. What are some of the other ones? T-ball. What's that, babe?
Sherry asked a question, but it has nothing to do pertaining to this, so I'm just replying to her.
Oh.
She asked about how do you rip the material for a rag wreath.
Gotcha. 4. There's that. So what other questions do you have that I can answer for you while we're finishing up the last details of our wreath? That one goes over here. So the 1.5 inch ribbon is cut to 14-inch pieces. That was a length I didn't give you. So I just start with 2-inch loops and then leave the excess for your tails. You could add in flex tubing if you wanted to. You could go red and blue flex tubes. Ribbon would look really pretty in here. Like someone says, you can get the little miniature bat. I had a miniature bat, still do, but I think it's sports trademark for a specific baseball team. Your comments, your commentary stopped. Are you still typing?
Yeah. Shirley asked where did you get the baseball ribbon? That was from
Craft
Outlet.
Yeah.
Both the stitching and the baseballs.
Mm-hmm.
And then the baseball ribbons are cut to 14 inches.
Yeah. 13 inches for the 2.5. The 1.5 baseball ribbon is cut to 14. And you don't have to do it this way. You could, you know, put red and blue in it and then add baseball ribbon to the top. That would look super cute. But remember, the more you add, you have to increase your price to recoup your material costs. So you don't want to go overboard. Unless you're doing it for yourself, then you can go crazy. So you can kind of see as we bring it around what it's doing. And I might come back in the middle and add something to the middle. Check this
Yeah,
one.
Sherry was just asking if you cut it actually for a rag wreath material or do you rip it? So
I rip it.
Yeah, right.
It just gets out a lot of frustration.
Right. I'm just telling you have to make sure you rip it along the correct bias.
Yeah, and just make sure you do a test strip. Like cut just a small little piece and tear it.
Yep.
And if it stays the same as you tear it, you're tearing
good.
it along the right side.
Yep.
Yep. And if it's not and it starts going from wide to small, you need to go the opposite side. Because sometimes just the way they cut it, it just makes it hard to know. How they fold the material on the bolt can make it difficult.
Oh, sorry, Sharon.
What's that?
Sharon Bender says, oh wow, I just came on and then she was already kicked off, so she had to jump back on again.
What?
Good on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm actually thankful we have a live. I mean, we were going to do on Wednesday, but
Yeah.
then the internet crashed. So I was like, what should we do with our free time? I know, I'll clean my house. So that's what I did. Clean my house from top to bottom. Didn't even go into my craft room. Because I wanted to save all the good stuff for when we went live.
So if you can, gals, send some prayers to Kat. Her right arm's been hurting her for a while. For whatever reason, she hasn't got it to heal up. She's just kind of overstressed it. Her shoulder's kind of really been hurting her.
But ibuprofen helps.
Yeah.
Only prescription ibuprofen. That's what I found is the only thing. I've been taking muscle relaxers. I'm not a real pain pill person. So I've been trying really hard to do. Take it easy, although cleaning didn't help.
I told you.
I know. I seriously needed to get my house clean though. Needed to get that done. Okay, couple more pieces.
Oh, yeah. Yep, Sherry, if you did it the wrong way, just turn the fabric, refold it, and turn it the correct way, and then do it, then redo it.
Because sometimes the way that they put them on the bolt, they're supposed to put them on the right way, but sometimes, depending upon how they fold it, it's not folded the correct way. So I always just sample it. Just to make sure. Okay, last piece.
Yeah, I think you said at the tip, right? If the finished edge, the very finished edge you should be cutting parallel or ripping parallel to the finished edge.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Someone said, you know, somebody said it's the salvage edge you're trying to rip either with or against, but then she went back to recount that and said, well, correct that. They could have technically cut it, folded it, put it on the bolt wrong. The only way you're going to know for sure is just do a small little sample piece. And then you can fold your fabric and know which way you're cutting is correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to fold.
Sharon, wow, sorry about that. No, I'm not having any problems. We're direct plugged into.
We're wired directly.
Wired
It
in.
might just be Facebook,
She got kicked out
unfortunately.
again and froze. Yeah, it could be.
Okay, so blue. I'm going to add a couple pieces of blue to the red that I have in the center. Do you guys think that it needs a bow or not?
Pick it up.
Because we could put a bow here, or we could just do.
I would say yes, a bow there.
Yes,
What do you
a
guys
bow.
think? A bow between the two
Like here?
balls on the top? Yeah. What do you guys think?
I'm going to start cutting this for the two tails on the bottom though. So this is my 13. And another 13. Wonder where I already have the bow dabber here.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it.
Ah, it's okay, it's right here. I tried really hard this time to make sure I
Oh,
didn't
it's
have to
behind the blue
go.
thing.
Yeah, to make sure I didn't have to have you fetch
Oh,
anything.
Cheryl said no bow. Audrey said no bow.
See, I'm thinking no.
Okay.
Maybe just instead of doing a half bow at the top, just do like a complete, like baseball bow.
Sandra said no bow.
Okay.
Maybe said I'm thinking tails only. Peggy
See?
said bow.
We will.
Roseanne said no bow.
Okay.
Trixie said yes, a bow in between the two baseballs.
And I wasn't gonna go big thick bow. I was
Maybe.
just gonna do small ones. But
Yeah, maybe just the tails then.
yeah, I'll show you. Okay. So there's this one.
Sharon said love your hair, cat.
Thank you. I
It's
flattened
about,
it today.
It's about 75% no bow, 25% bow.
Okay, so we're not gonna do a bow. We'll just do something just a smidge different, just so, because I don't want it to ankle down. I think I want my tails to ankle up, because if we ankle them down, it'll cover the sign.
Right.
So let me do this last one. Make sure. And then I'll show you what we'll do for the inside. So let me ask you this question while I'm tying this last one in. Out of this ribbon, we can do both. Do you have a preference for one or the other? Do you like one ribbon
Do you like the baseball ribbon or the stitching ribbon?
better? Do you have a preference for that?
Yeah, a lot of the gal says tails, no bow.
Tails,
Rhonda said
no
with
bow.
that blue on the bottom, I would not do a bow.
Yeah. See? I always bring everything just in case. You honestly never know. We're just fanning these.
So are the two ribbons, which one do you like, the baseball better or the stitching one?
See, this is what it looks like so
Trixie
far.
said baseball.
The baseball. Okay,
But you do both, yeah.
let me do this.
Roseanne said baseball, Sherry said baseball. So
Okay,
baseball.
just on the inside, I'm going to look for something just a little bit different. So I'm going to cut 3 to 14 inches. So I'll show you.
Katie said stitching, Libby said baseball.
I know it's hard because sometimes when you're thinking about ordering them online, you're like, which
I
one
just
do I
said
like
baseball.
better? So let me go ahead and
Oh, sorry Sharon. She said she keeps getting kicked off. She's going to try her iPad.
you know,
Sorry, Sharon.
I can honestly say, like, I was trying to post on Instagram today and it just was not allowing me to post. But then I'm looking at everyone else and they can post no problem. And then I go, there's a site, I forget what it's called, down something for social media. And they actually track outages like on social media.
So it's like 90% baseball.
90%. baseball?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna do one over the other, but, and I'm just cheating. When I cut all my ribbon tails, I just flip them around and cut both sides at the same time. So I cheat. So here's time-saving tip. Once it's cut to the length you want, there's some people who use a ribbon cutter, but I found, you know, like the ribbon ruler, and they wrap them around. But what I find is my ribbons aren't exactly the same. Like one side's might be cut to like 13 7/8. So this is what I do. I will just double them up and cut one end at a time, and then cut the other end. And then they're both cut, and then when you just have one that you need, you just take the top and the bottom, you match them up, fold them in half, and then cut from the fold to the outside, and you're done. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to do, here's a half bow and a stitching. So I'm going to take a half bow and a half bow, and if you have a half and a half and you put half and a half together, you have a hole. So we're going to actually be adding this.
Oh, between the baseballs? That's cute.
Yeah. And then I'm just going to twist my pipe cleaner and cut it off. And this one I cut a little too short. There we go. I just don't like the sharp edges to be out, so I'm just doing it this way and this way. Making sure we have ribbon, because it's kind of cool because the baseballs wind up on the side, the loop opposite your stitching. So you have your baseball here, stitching here, baseballs here. So all I'm doing is taking a half, making my 2-inch loop, take another one, make my 2-inch loop, and put loop and loop together, and then just add it right into the top, just so it kind of finishes the top a little bit but makes it a little bit different than the bottom.
Sharon, did you ever get back on him?
Poor Sharon. She'll probably be happy when it goes to replay, or she can just get off of Facebook entirely and go to YouTube.
Yeah.
Try to get it loaded to YouTube as quickly as I can.
Katie, the peanuts for us to eat while she was making it.
No, it's not.
It was just a prop, that's all.
Don't use the peanuts. I actually have 24 jars of these. Look, they're all left over from Kaylee and Isaiah's wedding.
Yep.
They had a barn wedding, so they were just leftovers. And I thought, I can use those as a prop on my Instagram picture. So that's what they were.
Yep.
And that's probably what this will be too. I'll have them as a prop. Just sometimes fun. I used to do that with my books when I would review books. I did one that was a big top circus one, and I got the old popcorn containers and sprinkled popcorn on the side. Just something to make your pictures interesting, because that's why we click like. It's because we like the photo. Okay, this should finish it. So let me fan out. Pull these to the other side. It's funny, I can smell the leather from the baseball.
Can you?
Yes, I can. Let's take that. Frame it a little bit better. So there you go. Let me hold this up so you guys can see. And what do you think? We'll pull this away from our baseball. So that's what it looks like. What do you think?
Yeah, looks awesome.
I'm just taking and fanning all these out.
Give
And
her
then
lots of likes and loves.
let me show
What
you
do you
what it
guys
looks
think?
like here. This up here. And then I'll show you what it looks like on the door. So, this is the one where I have my lid. I have to be super careful because I broke my door. Finish and fix and fluff. I broke my door taking it outside and it fell. This is where you want to take all of your ribbon and make all your ribbon look really pretty for your photos.
Abigail said, love, love, love it.
So
Gail said,
simple.
masterpiece. Karen, Deborah, Katie said, love it, awesome. Rhonda said, love it, thank you for your time. Thank you, Rhonda.
You're welcome.
Yeah, said, looks great.
So now you guys know. Here's how you do a sporting or sports wreath, right?
Yep.
So if you have a baseball fan, you could do it this way. If it's football, you just change out the colors. You change out your embellishments.
Yep.
You know, if you're doing it team specific and you're doing it as a custom order, they can, I'm trying to make sure that sign doesn't funky reflect. Does that look okay from where you're at?
For the camera, yeah, it looks fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I'm like, sometimes we get the reflection off the upper lights.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're doing sports team specific, it has to be custom order. You can tell people, you can do a generic one and say, if you have a favorite sports team or sport, I'd be happy to do your favorite team, favorite colors, high school, college, whatever, but it has to go down as a custom order. You can't put it up there on an Etsy store, regardless of what you might see when you search for it. Just because other people have it up there doesn't mean that they're not in the process of having to take it down.
Yep.
So I would just hate for you to have your Etsy store closed over a trademark infringement. So we're really cautious about that because we don't want to have that happen.
Yeah.
So just be careful.
Libby, you can, I mean, the person who buys the wreath, they can move the baseballs they can move them out. Libby said the one on the top left is kind of sticks over the sign a little bit and wants
This
to,
one?
yeah, she says you kind of need to move it out a bit.
Okay,
But-
you can.
But yeah, I mean, for whoever buys it, they could kind of rearrange the balls wherever they want to.
Or take them off if they don't want the baseballs on there.
Yeah.
They might say, I don't want them, I want to give the baseballs to my kids, those are great balls. You can even take them off, let them rough it up, and then put them back on so it looks a little more worn.
Yeah.
That's how I've seen a lot of them. And you can buy worn baseballs, believe it or not. But I wanted it to be white, like clean white.
Right.
Okay, any other questions you have? Private group. Sunday is, we are revisiting Etsy shop. So if you had thought about doing the Etsy shop last year, but didn't, and with all the changes that Etsy made, decided you were gonna wait until the year came and went, maybe get committed, maybe come up with your business name, we are going to start the Etsy 1.0 class this Sunday at 5. So if you want a refresher, if you are thinking about doing it, you want to look at, you know, how complicated is it to open up an Etsy shop, join the private group. We do it Sunday at 5 Pacific Standard Time, so same time as our live now. If you want to join the private group, just go to my website, KatsCreationsNMore.com. Scroll all the way to the bottom. You can read about all the details of what you get, and you can also sign up, and you can also request to join the private group. So it's $17 a month, and you get 2 business classes, 2 additional wreath making classes. So it's not just wreaths. Sometimes it's lantern swags, garlands, baskets, like we did the tobacco basket.
Centerpieces, yeah.
Yeah, anything above and beyond. We are going to, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, we're doing in our private group the rose tutorial. So all how you guys have been seeing the rose wreaths, we're going to be doing rose wreath. So that's what I'll be teaching our group how to do next Sunday.
I think Julie's made a couple of those roses.
Yeah,
Huh?
she's like, I think I would probably default to her. You just got to get a couple under your belt. You get the technique down. You're like, I got it. I can figure it out. All right.
Yep. Like I said, looks beautiful. Peggy said time for a paint bill. See you Sunday. Get better, Peggy.
I know.
Feel better.
Get some rest. All right, everyone. I'll see you Sunday in the private group. Everybody else next Friday. I haven't figured out what we're going to make because I got some supplies in. So we're going to look and see what we want to make and probably put that to a vote on Monday. So I will talk to the rest of you then. Have a great weekend and thanks for joining us. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.